There is something that I've been noticing lately when I decide to record my videos outside. I prefer recording my videos outside because it feels more natural. When I started recording videos, I would record outside, and it felt more natural. But lately, when I go outside to exactly what I was about to talk about. Nah? Lately, when I go outside to record, it starts to rain. And I used to think, maybe, you know what I mean? But it has happened more than 15 times in the last maybe 30 days. Not like I record videos outside. Sometimes I record videos indoors. And I was like, why does it always happen? Like, I'll press record. 3 minutes in, it starts to rain. I'll be like, what the hell? Like, it was already rain, bruh. It was already rain today. Oh, it wasn't even raining. Now it starts to rain. I mean, it was sunny. You couldn't even predict that it would rain, but now it's raining. I'm like, what? And there's something else that I've noticed. You see, that's where I used to sit when I record videos, right? I want you to look around. Do you see a person anywhere else other than where I used to record? When I record videos, I prefer being away from people, because I get easily distracted by people. I don't want a person to be listening to me talking. I get easily distracted, honestly. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I will go there. I will sit there because people wouldn't sit there. You find that the park is full. No one is sitting there, right? So I'll just go and sit there, and then I would start recording. And I'll record. But now that I record there, like I've been recording there for maybe like a whole month. Now when I come in and when I come this side to record, I always find people there. I'm like, what? But I came here for like maybe 15 days straight and no one will be sitting there. But now it changed. I don't have a problem with it, but I think it might tell us something about life throwing challenges at us, right? Like, things don't just happen. Like, life will purposefully throw challenges at you. Like, life will purposefully create problems for you to deal with. And you think that what's happening is random, there's no one. There isn't. You'll say, you're just paranoid. Like, no, I've came here. Even today when I was coming this, I was like, I'm gonna find someone there, because these days it's always like that. So sometimes you must catch life when it's trying to throw challenges at you. Because it happens so much that you're like, no, this is not a coincidence. This is something that's actually happening, because now I'm trying to record something. It's raining now because it was gonna rain. It's literally raining because I was gonna record something. But I've seen this pattern my whole life, where I'll discover something that will work for me, and just because I discovered it, now there's problems, right? Problems that wouldn't exist. I gave you the example with the mushrooms the other day, right? I discovered magic mushrooms, right? I didn't know it was magic mushrooms, but I was like, no, this does kind of look like, magic mushrooms. So I was like, you know what? Fine. Let me take a picture. I took a picture and I did that Google Lens thing, like search thing. And boom, it was. So I was like, shit. I did that at night. It was around 8. It's not safe. You can't just come this side at 8. There's no one here, so niggas can rob you. So I was like, no, I'll go tomorrow in the morning. When I got here in the morning, there were still mushrooms, but the magic mushrooms were in there. I was like, what? Like, life will purposefully throw challenges at you, bruh. If you discover a loophole in a system, like life will, you know what I mean? Let's just say there's a loophole somewhere, and through this loophole, you are able to, like, there's something that you're benefiting. Life will somehow make things difficult, right? Like, you find that in the beginning it's not going to be difficult, but because you're feeling much better and your vibration is changing, it has to create problems so that you will vibrate lower. I remember recently I've been talking a lot about how the way that we feel shapes our reality. It's not that you create reality, like it's not a, you don't do that consciously, but I'm telling you, when you're not feeling good, you tend to attract experiences that match your feelings, right? If you feel worthless, you tend to attract experiences that validate your. You tend to attract experiences that validate your feelings. You know, you feel worthless. You feel like you're not good enough. Yeah, you feel like you're worthless. You're not good enough. Yeah, you're worthless. You're not good enough. Like you'll deal with experience. You'll deal with situations that actually prove to you that you are right. You're worthless and you're not good enough. Like, you're completely right. That's not a lie. Like, life won't just let you be free and enjoy it without creating problems that even you yourself will say that this problem wasn't supposed to exist. You know, if things were happening randomly, this problem wouldn't exist. This problem only exists really because it just to change how I feel, right? If things go too well for you, expect something that's unexpected, that's bad to happen. This reminds me of a meme. They took a face of, like, the Simpson guy. He looked a bit suspicious. And on the caption, it said, when things have been going too well for 3 days, like, now you'll be like now you're surprised because you know life just won't let you be happy, right? So when things are going too well, you're like, no, something's wrong. Have you ever felt guilty when things are going too well for you? You're like you don't deserve, like, if you've ever been in a relationship with a person who's never been loved, who believe that they're not worthy of love, if you treat them well, they probably will suspect that maybe you're setting them up because they don't feel like they're worthy of love. Like, you might actually push them away by treating them too well because they feel they don't deserve it. Why are you treating me too well? They'll start being paranoid. Ever been treated so well by a person that you just felt paranoid? Like, I've never been treated this well. Like, this must be a setup. Like, there has to be a catch because life has never really been good to you. So it's kind of feel like that. You kind of feel like that when things are going too well. You're like, no, but that's not how my life is. I'm used to my problems. I'm used to waking up in the morning, dealing with problems, and have like a break maybe for a couple of hours, but then, there's always problems. But now I'm just happy. Like, you feel guilty for being happy. You feel like you don't deserve happiness because you've never been happy your whole life. It's like if you never had money your whole life. If you started getting money, you'd feel guilty. In fact, you might end up feeling guilty your whole life just because you're getting some money. Because you never had it. You are used to begging. You're used to not having it. So you feel guilty. That is why people who've never really had money, when they start having money, they're still kind of stingy. You know what I mean? Like, they still... This reminds me of this other movie that I've watched about some kids that grew up in the street. So this guy decided to take them in and live with them. So he will give them food, and they will eat the same way that they will eat when they're in the street. Like, they will eat very fast, as if someone is, is going to take their food, and they will try to take some of the food to their room. It's like, no, there's a fridge here. You can keep your food. You can wake up and, it's because that's what they are used to. I'm able to predict what's gonna happen based on how life has been treating me my whole life. But like, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. I suspect that that's what's gonna happen, and you find that that's what happened. You might say, you're creating it, but no, I don't think I'm creating. It's looking at your past and being like, this is how it always works. Sometimes I go to a shop looking for something, and I know I'm not gonna find it. I just be like, let me just go. Because if I don't go, I'll feel guilty. I find that it's a necessity, something that I must, and I could feel it based on how my day was. I'm like, I'm not going to find it. And I don't find it. I think life keeps on throwing challenges at us because it's because it's actually meaningless, right? So we are supposed to deal with challenges so that we'll not really have time to question life. So that, when you're always having this, even if it's minor problems, you're thinking about them. Have you realized that? You see, if you had no problem, like at all, like zero problems, you would actually want to think about what life is, what is actually going on. So life has to keep you distracted. It's BS, basically. Why do you think we have problems in this world? Think about it. Like, these problems ain't supposed to exist, bro. Look at the technological level that this world is operating on. Do you really think that we should be having problems? Kids dying of cancer. Do you genuinely? Come on, man. Look at the technological level that this world is operating on. Do you mean to tell me that they wouldn't have found a cure for cancer, and people like cure for any disease? Let me not even talk about cancer, but any disease, right? Do you think that they will not have found a cure? Do you think that we would not have gotten rid of poverty? Does it still make sense that there's some people who are poor? Sometimes if you have some money, you might forget that there are people who are really poor and who don't know what to do. They've been trying to make things better, but sometimes it feels impossible, right? Like, sometimes it actually feels impossible. You're like, even if you actually do have what it takes to kind of make money, but because of how life has treated you, it doesn't feel possible. And people ain't being given opportunities to change their lives. They're being given shitty jobs. and they're not being paid well enough, so they're living in poverty. But when you look at the technological level that this world operates on, it doesn't make sense that poverty still exists. It doesn't make sense that people still can get sick and die from sickness. So these problems exist so that we will focus on them, because if we didn't have any problem, then we will start to ask ourselves what life is. You see, I remember I heard Andrew Tate talking about depression. He was like, people in the past, like our ancestors, they had real problems. That's why they never dealt with depression. Because now you're afraid that you might get eaten by a lion. Now you're afraid that you might not go back home with anything. You go out hunting. Now the people that were here left. But this is another thing that I've realized, right? If I want to do something and there is like an obstacle, and I decide to do it in another way, like, okay, fine, there's this obstacle, let me do it another way. That obstacle will remove itself. I don't know. It happens like that. It's crazy. But yeah, our ancestors were always dealing with problems, so it wouldn't be very big problems, it'll be, it's a big problem thinking that you're gonna get eaten by a lion, but it wouldn't happen all the time. So they would just be thinking about that, like, how do I protect myself, make sure that I don't get eaten by a lion? How do I make sure that I go back with something? I can't go home with nothing. That's not good. But now you can wake up in the morning and not be afraid that you're gonna get eaten by a lion, not be afraid that you're not gonna eat. You know what I mean? So now you have time to actually think and question life, right? And because of that, people become depressed, because now they're asking themselves, okay, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of all this? Because I'm waking up, I don't know what I need to be doing, and no one is actually telling me what is going on, and life is the same every day. But when you have these minor problems, these minor obstacles, you end up focusing on them rather than asking the deepest questions about existence. You see, you end up being distracted. I've noticed that life throws obstacles our way because it's actually meaningless. It's actually empty. So if we didn't have these obstacles, we'll question life. Like, what is this? What is going on? If we just lived our life freely, no obstacles, zero obstacle, no one is gossiping about you. I'm not saying what we're dealing with is good. It isn't, and that's what tells you. That's what's telling you something about this room. It's like watching a movie that has no meaning. You find that there's gonna be unnecessary violence, right? Like, those people weren't supposed to fight. What the heck are they fighting about? Like, they could just talk. The movie doesn't have meaning, so there has to be a lot of BS that'll be happening. You see, there has to be a lot of drama because there's no meaning. So, there must be drama to keep you invested. Really, if you watch a movie that has meaning, bruh, there won't be unnecessary drama. Like, if there's drama, you're gonna understand why there's drama, right? There's not gonna be unnecessary obstacles. You understand why there's obstacles. Why are you going through the BS that you're going through right now? Think about it. You think you're going through the BS that you're going through now so that you can learn? Of course, there's always something that you can learn. I tell people this, that even from your dreams are totally meaningless. But just because they're meaningless, it doesn't mean that you, as the ego mind, cannot learn anything. Doesn't mean that it's over, like there's nothing to, like, no, there's always something that you can learn. There are things that you can learn about yourself. Maybe you'll realize how resilient you are. You realize how brilliant you are. How brilliant you are, how brave you are. Last night I had a dream. Last time I had this kind of dream, like where I would not be able to move, right? Last time I actually experienced sleep paralysis. I was still at home. It was last year. I spoke about my experience. Yeah, last night when I was sleeping, I opened my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I saw this dark figure coming towards me. It was kind of like it was floating. Like, what the fuck? I was scared, but not as scared as I usually am when I have those kind of dreams. I felt like fighting. Right? I felt like fighting, but I couldn't move. I couldn't move, but and I like that I was able to move a little, but I couldn't move that well. Usually when I'm experiencing sleep paralysis, I can't move at all. I can't even shout. But I was able to move. I was moving very slowly, and I was able to grab its leg. It was trying to get away, and I grabbed its leg. And then I said, but then I couldn't move. I couldn't move that well, so I decided that let me shout, right, so that people will be able to hear me because I caught something here, right? And then I shouted. I said, "Hey!" And then I woke up and I was like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, I learned something about myself that, well, maybe I'm not a bitch. Like, if shit has to go down, shit will go down. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been scared and screamed, felt like a victim, but there's that spirit in me that wants to protect, like that wants to fight. You know what I mean? Like, no. If it's war, it's war. So I like that. So I've learned something about myself. If I have a dream where I do some dumb shit or don't behave in a way that, make me feel proud in the end of, I feel a bit disappointed. So yes, there's always something that you can learn from any experience. Even if an experience is totally meaningless. Yes. But just because you can learn something doesn't mean that there was a meaning behind whatever you have learned from. You could just be so damn intelligent that you can learn from anything. And you can learn from anything. It sucks that there is no meaning to life. And we struggle a lot as conscious beings, trying to find meaning. Trying to justify our own existence. And sometimes we distract ourselves. Right? Like, you actually distract yourself. You're like, you know what? Maybe I must believe in some God. Even if it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to believe in some God, but then maybe I will feel like this is meaningful, and you actually feel better. I think this happens on a subconscious level, right? It's not like some people maybe might tell themselves that they want to believe in a religion because they want to find meaning, but sometimes it actually happens on a subconscious level, is that you want meaning, and you can tell that life will be meaningless if you don't believe in something. But it's happening on a subconscious level, so you find something to believe in, and you start believing in it, and you feel a lot better. But if you didn't believe in anything, then you turn into a nihilist, and you don't want to be a nihilist. Like, you want to feel like there's a point to life, right? Like, you actually want to feel like there's a point to life. Ever ask yourself why life doesn't have meaning? Because it's obvious that life has no meaning. You have seen, other people live their lives and try to ask yourself, what was the meaning of their lives? You have tried to listen to people tell you what the meaning of life is, and you realize that the explanation that they'll be giving you is BS, right? Like, no one is actually giving you an explanation that actually makes sense, right? But like, yo, the meaning of life is to worship God. You're like, huh? Why do you think that? The meaning of life is to find meaning. Huh? What do you mean? The meaning of life is to be happy. Well, a lot of people ain't happy. Maybe there's no one to give life meaning. Like, look at it this way. You became conscious in a world that you don't remember asking to be brought into, and there seem to be other people living their own lives. You started to learn from these people. You started to learn some things from these people. But life never seemed to make sense, right? Like, it never seemed to make sense. Like, there was always a part of you that was rejecting this life, right? There's always been a part of you that was like, you know what? I do understand that there are things that I love about this world, but why are things done this way? And you try to, it's raining again. Another obstacle. There is something beautiful about making my videos while working at night. I feel more like myself when I'm working at night. I don't really like it when it's crowded in the street. When I was at home, I enjoyed doing walk and talk videos. In the bushes. Because I enjoy being alone. I don't think that many people actually enjoy being by themselves. I really enjoy my own company. Because that's when I'm able to control my thoughts. Like, it's not easy to control your thoughts when you are seeing many different people. But when you're alone, it's easy to control your thoughts. My favorite scene in the movie The Matrix was when Neo met this kid that was bending a spoon with his mouth. I mean, with his mind, not with his mouth. He was looking at the spoon and actually bending it with his mind. A new student looked at him because he was surprised, like, how are you able to bend that spoon with your mind? Like, by just looking at it, how are you able to do that? And that kid said, do not try to bend the spoon, because that is impossible. But instead, only try to realize the truth. And he was like, what truth? And the kid told him that there is no spoon. I like the fact that he said, try to realize the truth. Right? He didn't say realize the truth as if it's easy. He said, do not try to bend the spoon. That is impossible. But instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon. And you realize that it's not the spoon that bends. It's yourself. A few days back, I made a video titled, What Are You Really? And how do you end up in hell? Well, I said that you are actually consciousness having an experience. So that's you. Meaning that everything that's happening is happening because of you. It's responding to you because it comes from you. Ever realize that when you try to change things in this world, like when you try to change things that are not easy to change, like the harder you try, the more you fail. And you actually trying to do something to change the world, to try to make the world better, or to try to make your life better. But the harder you try, the harder it actually is to actually change things, right? Ever realize that things actually do work themselves out when you are not really trying and you are at peace with everything? Ever realize that you're not trying to change anything? What happened, or what is happening, and you try to be at peace. Ever realize that usually things actually work out? Like if something really bad can happen in your life, like something really, really bad, and you didn't really allow it to affect you that much. Ever realize that positive things do start to happen to cancel the negative thing that happened if it's something that cannot really be changed? The real problem is that we weren't told what this is and how it works, and we had to teach ourselves. And maybe we have been viewing reality wrong the whole time. We didn't realize that everything is a product of consciousness. Everything is a product of you. Everything is actually responding to you. Sometimes you might try to change things by, trying too hard. But you might end up finding out that things actually end up remaining the same. Like maybe it seems like you have changed things, but then after a while, things actually end up remaining the same, right? I like to give the example of dreams. When you are in a dream, it seems like the things that are happening outside of you, and the world will exist independent of your mind. Meaning that even if you're not there, the dream will continue until you wake up and realize that it was all me. Everything was, and I was a part of me. Everything was created from my subconscious. So that means that everything is me. Meaning that to truly control my dream, if I can actually control my dream, I have to control my mind, right? I can try to work very hard in my dream, like I'm having a dream where I'm a broke piece of shit, and the world, this world that I'm in, it doesn't help broke people. And then you work hard, you try to do whatever it takes, but still nothing changes, right? Because in that dream, it doesn't matter if you work hard. Like, it's not supposed to matter if you work hard. It's not supposed to matter, because dreams are absurd, right? This world is absurd. It doesn't work the way that an ideal world should work. You can say that everything is upside down. So even in a dream, there will be a lot of things that will just be absurd. Like, come on, man. find out it doesn't really matter what you do. Because it's not the spoon that bends, it's actually yourself. And that's what you refuse to believe. So we don't really change reality by doing a lot of things that we think we must do. We need to work on healing our subconscious. And this is not the art of attraction, like, yo. Hey, this thing of not seeing well, I think it's that car, man, because I stepped on this. It's there, it blinds me. Okay. Because think about it. If your subconscious is actually used to giving you negative experiences because it doesn't know what's positive and what's negative, because it's not like you can tell it, oh, this is what's positive and this is what's negative. Like, it cannot know, right? It just relies on you, even if you don't understand the language it uses, but it relies on you. You know, there are people in this world who are living lives that you feel like they don't deserve. You look at them, you're like, they don't deserve to have this kind of life, but they're living a life that you feel they don't deserve. And sometimes you tell yourself that, nah, it's all fake. But you find out that that's not really true. It's not fake. It always had to do with our subconscious. How else do you think reality is created? Someone else is creating reality. This is something that I struggled to believe. Right? This is something that I struggled to believe. Of course, at first it won't make sense to believe that you do not live in a material universe. Reality is actually not solid. Like, it's almost impossible to believe that, right? That's why the kid said to me, try to realize the truth. Like, that's what you actually should be focusing on, trying to realize the truth. Because it's gonna take more than me making these videos, talking about this topic consistently. For you to truly understand what I'm really saying. You just need to investigate what's actually causing the things that are happening in your life to happen. You'd have to try to pay attention to everything. When you meet a person that you didn't think you were going to meet, try to figure out how you were thinking that day. When things go your way, try to figure out how you were thinking that day, how you were feeling that day, how you behaved that week. Sometimes certain things happen after some things have happened, and we think that these things were happening just to prepare us for what gets to happen. But you find out the truth is that how we felt changed. And because our feelings changed, we ended up attracting certain experiences. You find that you're doing that all the time. Every time when you experience something, your feelings change, and then you end up attracting certain experiences. The time for people to still be ignorant and not understand what reality is over, because if they never got to realize what is actually going on and what reality is, especially now looking at the technological level that this world operates on, like looking at the things that are actually possible now, and I don't know if there's waking up, right? Like waking up is going to be totally impossible. So that's what must be understood. I like the fact that I'm still able to capture something even though it's dark. Like this is actually dope. I think realizing that consciousness is fundamental, like that's what freed me from a lot of things. Because it's something that I didn't want to realize at first. Like, nah, that can't be true, you see. But after doing some work, I was like, nah, that is really the final truth. Like, it doesn't get truer than that. But I think each and every person has to investigate for themselves. It's not something that someone else can convince you. I need to check this other nigga this side. I think he's back from work actually, because he usually comes back around this time. Because I'm actually thinking that there's these two niggas behind me, so I felt like motherfuckers might be following me. They're still behind me, so I need to check my nigga. Because I could hear him saying something like, yo, yeah, he's taking a video. They're talking about me, so I'm like, all right. I still have to try to be as calm as possible, even though I'm distracted. Because when niggas don't know you in the streets, like, they'll always try some shit. Plus, it's a bit late. Amen. So climbing. Slow climbing. Eh. All right.